the next one start at 7:30?
7:15, so it's.
You're a touch late. You can start.
I'll tell you what, why don't we take a 5-minute recess until like 7:32
It's
or
only one more.
7:33?
7:15.
I don't understand, but I thought maybe people in that might need to go to the restroom or.
I cut.
Well, you said several, I thought
that.
there's only notice for Wednesday, so.
No, there's committee, all that.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, depends on what we decide to do about the building project, which we may be able to settle it without having a building committee. All right. Man, I don't have an agenda for this meeting.
You don't, they're not here.
I can't read that. Sorry.
Aw,
There you go.
You know what? All
that
right.
was nice.
All right, show the time to be
291? No?
7:29 p.m. on October 1st, 2015. We will now have a special called meeting of the Somervell County Hospital District. Show all board members to be in attendance.
One of your own.
First.
Got it.
Was he one of these?
All right. Item number 3, open, review, and if necessarily, take action on RFPs received for the purchase of land for purpose of constructing a hospital-approved laundry facility.
Mr. Chairman, I've received 2 proposals from that. One proposal is from the Glen Rose Nursing and Rehab Center, and the other is from Brian Gaffin, architect. It's probably all open these and make sure that they meet our requirements. So the proposal from Glen Rose Nursing and Rehab seems to be in order. Proposal from Brian Gaffin Architect, P.O. Box 2156, Granbury, Texas. It appears to be a proper response to the RFP.
All right.
And do you want the full board to address these, or do you want these to be referred to the planning and building and planning committee for their review?
Well, why don't we discuss this for a minute and see what the board's pleasure would be.
I would suggest referring it to the Building and Planning Committee to look at and bring back to the full board.
With the recommendations?
Yes, sir.
Sounds good.
I think so too. So was that a motion you made?
I'll make that motion.
All right, so we have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Let it be so. Looks like it passed 7-0. Item number 4, open, review, and if necessarily, take action on RFPs received for the purpose of providing recommendations and drawings for the remodel of office space located at the Village of Pecan Plantation, 2800 Village Road, Suite 1, Granbury, Texas. So, Ray, if you'd open.
Again, I have 2. I have one from Pecan Plantation Properties, 7900 Monticello Drive in Granbury. It appears to be an response to an RFP, which meets our minimum requirements. I have a second also from Brian Gaffin Architect in Granbury.
So these bids were actually sealed.
Sir?
It appears as though these bids were actually sealed.
Yes, yeah.
They are sealed.
Hermetic seal. It also is a proposal which appears to meet the minimum requirements of our RFP.
What are the bid amounts of this?
Make sure I said it right. The payments and compensation to the architect, schematic design and analysis, 3,000, design development, 2,500, construction documents, 50%, 4,500, construction documents, 100%, 5,000. And that is from Mr. Gaffin.
That's just for drawing?
And
Didn't say-
recommendations.
Huh?
And recommendations.
And recommendations.
Well, it didn't say anything about driving a nail.
No, these are not construction. Well, this is to prepare us so that we could take it to a,
Out for bid.
out for bids. Mhm.
That's what we're paying for bid writing. We may not be able to just issue a hammer to every doctor and PA. Although Dr. Burris, I think, has a few evenings a week loose.
Yeah.
There are not dollar amounts associated with the complementation bid. It does list what they were, the preliminary scope of work, physical therapy, and the expansion clinic, and the preliminary scope of work in the existing clinic spaces.
I was under the impression that's what we were asking for, was scope of work, but not necessarily just blueprints and whatnot.
We did not, and we did not, should have made it my RFP, make sure, we did not ask for specific dollar amounts. We were asking for interest in providing us with documents.
Right.
So the minimum requirements.
So, any discussion about this?
I think the building and planning committee need to be looking at this.
All right, so is that a motion?
I'll move it.
All right, so we have a motion, do we have a second?
Also,
All right, any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. 6-1. Item number 5, discuss and if necessarily take action regarding the notice from the city of Glen Rose related to the buildings and structures located on hospital district property, which is specifically the ones that are over on the corner of Gaither and Embry Lane, which is between the storage building rental place and to the south of it are the new houses that Craig Dodson built. And it's due west of the old Church of Christ that sits almost in the parking lot of Chachi's, to kind of get y'all's bearings.
Due east.
And we received a complaint from the city, from the code inspector, Mr. Moody, and I talked to him today, and the issue is that the buildings are open and are not secure. Some of the wings are closed, some of them have been nailed shut, some of them are open, and their position is that it's unsafe, and at a minimum, we need to close up all the openings in the building, and we need to make sure that the grounds are kept clean and hazard-free. I talked with him about us perhaps just tearing the buildings down or having them tore down, and his answer was, be sure you come to a permit and tear them down. But he was receptive to us taking whatever action we need. I think we have some time to do that.
So they're complaining about the motel and not what was behind Los Primos and stuff. Is there
Right.
still something behind Los Primos?
No, I think he's talking about just the two buildings that are touching Gaither Street.
Yeah.
And I think there's a little haydock block structure back there that I think maybe was a well house or storage building or something back in the day. And I think the couple of houses that are more right by the nursing home and by the,
Smoking area?
yeah, behind Los Primos, I think those are kind of okay.
Yeah.
I do think that if we sell the land to the nursing home company and they construct a laundry there, one of those buildings goes away in that project. That they're gonna, isn't that right? That they're gonna take down the house and put the laundry where the house
I'm
is?
not certain about that. I'm not certain.
I'm not certain about it either, but there's been some, Ricky and us had some discussions about doing that, which
Yeah.
it's their piece of land, they do what they want to do if they buy it.
Yeah. But I think we have two options. One is we could issue an RFP and get bids to just someone come in with a back end or front end loader or whatever and just tear them down and pull it away. The other is we could issue an RFP, see if anyone was interested in coming down, tearing the buildings down and cleaning the property for the materials, particularly the rock. I mean, there's a fair amount of rock. So I think those are well, I guess we've got three options. Either that, or then we can go in and we can close up the openings. But when at one time the county had indicated before they gave us the project, indicated that they'd take the buildings down for us, and that just never materialized. I think it got to be more of a project than they anticipated. But for whatever reason, they were passed on to us as they are, so it's like now our responsibility to take care of it.
So when did you talk to him?
Today.
Okay. So they're not gonna inspect it? When are they gonna inspect it?
Well, it said it was due for another inspection today. He hadn't inspected it when I went down. I told him that I had a board meeting tonight and that I would get the pleasure of the board and I would advise him as to what action that we were going to take regarding the structures.
Okay.
Just covering up the windows and everything is obviously a very temporary fix, and
There's nothing left there. I went and looked at them the other night. The flooring's out of them. There's, being real optimistic, there's a pickup load of stuff that you could recycle out of those, and the rest of it is junk. It would, to get $500 worth of usable lumber out there my estimate would be about $3,800 to get it. Well, there might be somebody, I told Ray earlier, maybe somebody's watched just a few episodes of HGTV and they might jump all over that, but I don't know that we want to do business with them because it ain't gonna work. And I think we ought to put an RFP out and give people the option of purchasing the buildings by giving us a deposit of what it would cost to remove the buildings when they go through and take the pickup load of good stuff out of them. And I think option number 2 would be to accept bids for removing have an RFP to remove everything that's on that piece of property, the haydock block deal, the whole thing, and get it leveled up and stuff where it's easier for the mowing company to mow it when they come mow.
What do you have that property for? What's the purpose?
It's generally spent. It was part of the property that was owned by the county and it passed on to us. Yeah. I think at some point in time that property will have value to people that are associated with the hospital. With the increase in long-term care. I mean, I think that's an opportunity for us or for someone to continue to develop a long-term care.
There is a group that is eyeing that piece of property to put an assisted living on, and long-term, they would like to have an assisted living there, and they don't have the funding right now, but they would. I think if somebody else started talking to us about assisted living, I think there'd be one there within 90 days. And I think assisted living would be good business for us.
How much do you think it would take to tear down the building?
I don't know. I hadn't really investigated it. If I was guessing,
Sir? Yes, yes. We were talking today, I think, the latest one was built in maybe the 50s?
No, the one that's closest to 67, if I was guessing, I would say, looking at the style of construction stuff, it was probably built in the late 30s. I would say pre-World War II, but about then, just looking how it was built and the kind of wiring and stuff that was in it. The other one that's on the southern end of that lot is considerably newer, but when I say considerably newer, I think it was built in the late 50s. And the original one on the top, the outside walls are solid rock, which means they were kind of floated out with mortar and then they plastered them. And that's part of what takes the value of the rock away, is because the rock is going to be so dirty that.
Well, also, I was wondering about the rock with Portland cement, because with Portland cement, you can't separate it.
Right. And I didn't really look at the mortar. I'll be real honest, most of the rocks was the surface rock that you can go out and pick up out of the fields and stuff here. It's $80 a ton to get it delivered, which is roughly, it figures out to about $1.07 a square foot for good rock. And that's not good rock.
That's not good rock.
It's not good rock. It doesn't match. It's not uniform in color or shape. And it was just,
It can be pretty, but it's a lot of work, so.
that's not. And I just don't think anybody's gonna, in my opinion,
That's
I don't
what I
think
wondered.
anybody's gonna get excited about it.
Yeah, we did an RFP with two options. One is to tear it down for the material, and the other would be to bid on the cost of demolishing and clearing the property.
I think we'll wind up paying somebody to get rid of them, and it's just a question of how much it's gonna cost.
That's what I think.
I would suspect putting in an RFP saying either or might be the best way, but I don't know, do we want to refer that to building committee to ask for an RFP?
Well, short term, we have to do something. Long term.
Well, I think 286 requires anytime we do anything with real property, we have to put an RFP out to make sure that the citizenry is notified that we're doing anything with real property. And so I think at the very least, this is y'all's pleasure. We either need to make a motion to put an RFP out or refer it to the building committee and have the building committee come back and tell us to put an RFP out. I don't think there's anything to be gained by putting this through committee.
Would you like to know about that concrete before you make a decision on it?
I'd like to know something about it, yeah.
So, yeah, I think we should let the budget for the building committee look at it
Building committee should look at it.
before we do anything. Because it could.
I'm torn down a few buildings myself.
I figured you had.
If y'all do that, would you authorize the building planning committee to issue an
Whatever you
RFP?
think's right,
Yeah.
yes, issue an RFP, yes, sir. I would.
So that would be a delegation.
Yeah, that's right.
So is any of this a motion or we still have
I
discussion?
think we're still discussing.
Okay. So, all right.
So I'll make a motion that we get the building committee to make a recommendation to the board.
Instead of doing it themselves,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think board committee should take action.
Okay. Agreed.
Yeah. That's a bad can of worms to ever get open.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll second the motion.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Show pass 7-0. Item number 6, discuss and if necessarily take action on securing a short-term bank loan for the purpose of making an intergovernmental government transfer, IGTs we call those, to secure our 1115 waiver funding.
Well, we have received notification from the 1115 regarding our funding. I guess there's some good news and bad news on that. The good news is that we are eligible for $681,124 in funding, which is a little more than we had anticipated. The bad news is it's going to come to us in 2 separate payments. The first payment would be $197,407. That the IGT for that, the IGT of $82,812 will need to be made on October the 6th, and then we'll be able to pull down the funds sometime between October the 15th and October the 31st. That's the schedule. So, so that's, then the balance of that would come sometime between, we don't know when, but they're telling us sometime between now and the end of the calendar year. I guess the issue is they don't give us a whole lot of notice on that. The dollar amount to pull down the entire 681,124 would be 293,123. I guess our request would be that you authorize us to secure a loan in the amount of 293,123 and to fund the IGTs as they become as they're requested.
So the first payment's due 10/6. We don't know when the second payment's due.
That's correct.
And the first payment's 82,812. And within 3 weeks, we're gonna be able to return 197,407 on that 82,812.
That's correct.
Okay. So the remaining, whatever the balance is, 43,717. What's the pay for that we gotta get? The second payment?
290.
No, it's, yeah, 293,123 minus the,
The
80 some odd.
Yeah.
Minus the 82? Okay.
Yeah.
So.
210,311 is right here for that.
yeah. But it'll be two separate transactions. In theory,
210.
our exposure will never be the whole
210,
293. It'll be 90 one time and 150 the next time, or whatever the number.
And that 210 is gonna net us 408,
Yes, the difference between
371 or
yeah,
I would be prepared
483 and 483.
to direct us to do this in 2 steps as necessary.
Now, are we for sure gonna get this money, or is this just a guess we're gonna get this money?
Well, we're for sure gonna get the 190.
Because I remember before, us not getting anything you told us we were gonna get, right?
For sure, we're gonna get the 197,407. That's been assured. The other, is there gonna be a haircut? I can't tell you that for that.
But we're gonna come out ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever
We're
I
not
need.
gonna come out negative.
Oh, no,
It's a 2.5 to 1, so
But
it's
it's
already
already
sent
210
up to
to
get back
get
roughly.
But it's always a 2 steps forward, 1 step back deal. It's never 2 steps forward and that's it.
No,
Right? Okay,
It's the federal government.
so
no. It's the federal.
John made a motion that we fund this
In 2
as
steps.
needed. Yep.
The first step now is for now.
So a profit of
Step
388.
necessary.
Did anybody second that, or am I looking for a second?
Well, I was waiting for people to quit talking, then they're through, I will second it.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All still in favor? All right, all in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Show that it passes 7-0. Item number 7 is to adjourn. Somebody make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And a second?
I'll second it.
And a second. All in favor, raise your right hand.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone, all opposed, stay here. Show that it passes 7-0.
Very much.
All right.
Departure is imminent.
Thank you.
Who made the second? Sorry.
John.
I mean, adjourn.
Yeah.
Blame it, it's easy.